The connection between Amaterasu and the Japanese imperial lineage is one of the most fascinating aspects of Japanese mythology. It is said that the first emperor, Jimmu, was her direct descendant, which legitimizes the divine authority of Japanese royalty. This belief creates a bridge between gods and mortals, a concept similar to what we see in legendary clans like the Uchiha clan, who bear the weight of a powerful ancestral heritage. For the Japanese, this connection to Amaterasu was not merely symbolic. It granted a kind of divine protection, ensuring that the sun would never cease to shine over Japan. This sacred lineage also makes us reflect on the power of our own inheritances, whether familial or cultural. Just as Sasuke and Itachi faced the challenges and expectations that came from their roots in the Uchiha clan, Japanese royalty carries the responsibility of honoring Amaterasu. This relationship between the divine and the human reminds us that, even in the midst of great challenges, there is a higher purpose guiding each of us. We all have a legacy to bear, and sometimes that involves sacrifices and difficult choices. The story of Amaterasu and her link to the imperial lineage also makes us question, how much of our lives is shaped by our origins? Just as the Uchiha clan left its mark on history through its struggles and achievements, the connection between Amaterasu and Japan shows how the past can deeply influence the present. And, just as the gods guided the birth of emperors, who guides our decisions and daily actions? Perhaps it's time to reflect on what we are building to leave as our legacy. The sunlight you see every day is not just a source of warmth, but the very manifestation of Amaterasu. As the sun goddess, she has the responsibility of bringing life to the earth, spreading her rays over everyone, like a mother caring for her children. The story of Amaterasu teaches us about the importance of balance and consistency. Have you ever noticed how, without the sun, nothing grows? That's exactly what happens when we lose our focus. Without light, without guidance, life simply halts. And speaking of which, have you noticed how characters like Sasuke and Itachi struggle to find their own light in the midst of darkness? It's an interesting parallel. Beyond illuminating the world, Amaterasu symbolizes strength and perseverance. As we face daily challenges, like the Uchiha clan dealing with its own dilemmas, we are reminded of the need for clarity and determination. It's no wonder that ancient cultures viewed the sun as something divine. It represents life in motion, the continuous flow that never stops. And just like Amaterasu, who ensures the world keeps turning, we too need to find our inner light to move forward, even in the darkest moments. Interestingly, Amaterasu's presence goes far beyond Japanese mythology. Her figure is a reminder that, just like the sun that rises every day, we have the capacity to be reborn and bring warmth and light to our own world. Think about how the Uchiha clan, throughout its journey, had to face both internal and external storms, yet always sought redemption. Shouldn't we do the same in our personal journey? Imagine a moment of purification, when all that is heavy and impure is removed, and in the midst of this process, light emerges. This is how Amaterasu was born. As Izanagi washed himself in the sacred waters, his eyes gleamed, and the sun goddess arose, ready to illuminate the world. Her origin, marked by this purification rite, teaches us that sometimes it is in the midst of chaos that we find our greatest strength. Just like Sasuke and Itachi, characters who face the shadows of the Uchiha clan, Amaterasu's true light could only emerge after moments of darkness. Amaterasu was immediately tasked with guarding the sun, a mission she accepted with firmness and responsibility. Being the protector of light, however, is not an easy task, and this mirrors the struggles we face in our daily lives. How many times have you felt overwhelmed by a responsibility? But remember, even in the most epic stories, such as in Japanese mythology and the challenges faced by heroes like Itachi, true strength comes from embracing what is destined for us, no matter how difficult it seems. Amaterasu's birth also symbolizes renewal, a concept that connects with the idea of personal overcoming. When things seem heavy, it is important to remember that just as Izanagi found new hope through purification, we too can find clarity by allowing ourselves to be reborn. And by doing so, we are ready to shine, just like Amaterasu, and find our purpose amid the turbulent waters of life. Imagine the chaos that can arise within a family. That's exactly what happened between Amaterasu and her brother, Susanoo. With his destructive temper, he caused a series of problems until the sun goddess herself had no choice but to isolate herself in a cave. The world, without her light, was plunged into total darkness. This reminds us of how conflicts, even among the closest of us, can lead to drastic decisions. It's like watching the Uchiha clan, divided between loyalties and betrayals, trying to find a path amidst internal and external darkness. Amaterasu, by isolating herself, symbolizes that feeling we have all experienced, the need to flee, to hide when everything seems to be falling apart around us. Who hasn't thought about walking away from everything after an argument or a tough moment? And just like Sasuke, who often distanced himself in search of answers, Amaterasu's isolation brought consequences she hadn't imagined. The world needed her light, just as we need the presence of those we love, even when times are tough. Finally, the conflict with Susanoo also shows us that, although the darkness may seem overwhelming, there is always a way out. Amaterasu, even in her cave, knew that one day she would have to return. Just as Sasuke had to face his demons to rediscover his path, there comes a point in our lives when we must leave the cave and face the challenges that await us. The light always returns, and with it comes the hope of new beginnings. When the gods found themselves without Amaterasu's light, they had to get creative. They crafted a magical mirror and joyful music, hoping to spark her curiosity. And that is exactly what happened. Seeing her reflection in the mirror, Amaterasu became enchanted with her own image and decided to leave the cave. This episode reminds us of how, sometimes, we need an external incentive to rediscover our own light. Even characters like Sasuke and Itachi, when confronted by their own reflections, their actions and choices, and needed that moment of self-reflection to find their way again. The mirror used by the gods also symbolizes the importance of looking at ourselves from the outside, with a different perspective. Often, the answer we seek is within us, but we only see it when we view our reflection in a new way. This is something Itachi repeatedly did in his journey, reflecting on his actions to protect the Uchiha clan. Similarly, Amaterasu's magical mirror was not just a trick, but a way for her to recognize her value and importance in the world. In the end, when Amaterasu emerged from the cave, she brought light back to the world, restoring order. This teaches us that no matter how dark the moments we experience may be, the light can always be restored. We just need to look within ourselves, as Amaterasu did, and understand the power we have to transform the reality around us. Just like in Japanese mythology and the story of the Uchiha clan, self-reflection is the first step to redemption and rebirth. The connection between Amaterasu and the Japanese imperial lineage is one of the most fascinating aspects of Japanese mythology. It is said that the first emperor, Jimmu, was her direct descendant, which legitimizes the divine authority of Japanese royalty. This belief creates a bridge between gods and mortals, a concept similar to what we see in legendary clans like the Uchiha clan, who bear the weight of a powerful ancestral heritage. For the Japanese, this connection to Amaterasu was not merely symbolic. It granted a kind of divine protection, ensuring that the sun would never cease to shine over Japan. This sacred lineage also makes us reflect on the power of our own inheritances, whether familial or cultural. Just as Sasuke and Itachi faced the challenges and expectations that came from their roots in the Uchiha clan, Japanese royalty carries the responsibility of honoring Amaterasu. This relationship between the divine and the human reminds us that, even in the midst of great challenges, there is a higher purpose guiding each of us. We all have a legacy to bear, and sometimes that involves sacrifices and difficult choices. The story of Amaterasu and her link to the imperial lineage also makes us question how much of our lives is shaped by our origins. Just as the Uchiha clan left its mark on history through its struggles and achievements, the connection between Amaterasu and Japan shows how the past can deeply influence the present. And, just as the gods guided the birth of emperors, who guides our decisions and daily actions? Perhaps it's time to reflect on what we are building to leave as our legacy. Have you ever stopped to think about the influence that ancient deities still exert on the modern world? Amaterasu, the sun goddess, is one of the central figures of Japanese mythology, but her story goes far beyond simply illuminating the sky. She is the point of connection between divine power and the imperial lineage, a link that still shapes Japanese culture today. And what about the conflicts with her brother, Susanoo, and the complex relationship with Tsukuyomi, the moon god? These stories carry lessons that many still overlook, but they can change the way we see our own role in the world. What makes Amaterasu's story so fascinating is how it immerses us in universal issues. The conflict between light and darkness, the weight of responsibility, and the challenges of family relationships. Just like in the Uchiha clan, where Sasuke and Itachi faced their own demons, the gods of Japanese mythology dealt with dilemmas that still resonate in our society. And that's where things get interesting. Understanding these stories can give us profound insights into who we are and what we can do to overcome our own struggles. In this video, you'll discover how Amaterasu, Susanoo, and Tsukuyomi shaped the destiny of Japan, and how the lessons of these gods can still influence your daily decisions. Don't think of these as ancient, distant stories. They are more connected to our modern lives than you might imagine. And who knows? You might find in them an answer to a dilemma you're currently facing.